What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another installment of the Husker Gutter Call-In Show Live, where we are taking your calls, and we've already got one standing by in the back of the studio, man. He was ready to rock and roll. So we're going to get this introduction done really quickly. Brian, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. No suit today, so I'm not going to be sweating for an hour while we're doing this.
Perfect.
I got my final interview next week with the company, so I'm kind of riding high right now. How are you?
That means we're going to have a great show.
Absolutely.
Right? That's the rules. Okay.
100%.
A few things we're going to dive through today. I did kind of go over a bunch of power rankings, kind of get a general consensus on those power rankings, where they kind of stack up the Big Ten, a little bit of a breakdown of each team, got some advanced analytics and stuff like that we may go through. It just depends on how much time we got. But, of course, this is fan-driven call-in, so we want y'all to call in and discuss those things with you. But with that being said, why don't we just bring our first caller in? It is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Gentlemen, how are we doing this fine evening?
Hey, we're doing fantastic.
Good.
Hope you're doing well.
Excellent. First, I want to start off by saying congratulations, Bryce Matthews, being called up by the Houston Astros.
Let's go.
Yes.
Let's
Big
go.
time.
We are down bad. We have Jordan's been out since the beginning of the season. Pena's been out for like two weeks. Jake Myers is out, who has our second highest batting average behind Pena. And then there's one more other player. And then we got the most players. We got 16 players in the injured list right now, most in Major League Baseball. So we need it.
Yes. And then kind of switching gears here a little bit, something that I've been kind of thinking about the last few days. As everybody knows, we've missed out on several what I call big time recruits, your 4 and 5 star, whether it be defensive lines or whatever. And I guess I'm going to specifically talk about defensive line. Do you think that's solely because of NIL? Or do you think that it's because maybe Braden's struggling a little bit coming from the NFL, not necessarily being a bad recruiter, but not being as crisp as a recruiter, being that he was in the league so long and not having to do that before?
I think part of it, I've talked about this before, part of it is when Nebraska hired Braden, it was right before the Super Bowl is when it broke, if I'm not mistaken. So he had to go through that whole Super Bowl week, then the game itself, and then he couldn't get to Nebraska until shortly after, because you actually, to be a coach, you have to take like a test to be a recruiter, so you know all the guidelines and whatnot. So that part takes time. And then you're coming in. John Butler's your new DC. They're kind of revamping their board a little bit. They dropped some guys off on the defensive line room. You saw them go after Cameron Wilson. They're still going after him, by the way. Valdon Sohn, they started to go after him more. There's a lot of more guys. They kind of just reset, and then they went after some big fish. And so you had to make up a lot of ground on the Georgias, the Oklahomas, et cetera, of college football, who had been recruiting these guys for 3, 4, 5, 6 months already at that point. So that's certainly part of it. From everything like that I've heard about Coach Braden, especially in Kansas City, very personable dude, very well liked in the locker room. It's probably, like you mentioned, Mike, probably part of it is just kind of he's been out of college for over a decade. And even when he was coaching college, it wasn't a high level. So kind of getting adjusted to that. I don't think NIL is as big of a factor. I know Nebraska will spend money, but for the sake of Valdon Stone, I know he's a foreign player, so his NIL is a little weird. But for his sake, for the discussion's sake, if George is offering $600K a year and Nebraska values that position or that player at $400K with a stretch to $450, they're not going to go up to $600 on it. So that's part of it. And I think a lot of it too is class of 2027. It's just it's shaping up where the 2025 class is going to be an okay or above average class with some few big guys like Claude Mpuma. But that 2027 class, I think, is where you're going to see it felt a bigger impact from Coach Braden in that 27 class.
Okay. All right. And then lastly, what are you guys' thoughts on Colorado's athletic director saying that they'd be open to playing Nebraska every year?
Would love it.
I mean, this is the one thing about the Colorado fans that's weird, is like they're acting like we're not like wanting to do that or something, or like we're ducking that or whatever. And I mean, honestly, the fan base would be for it. I'm pretty sure Dannon would be for it as well.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that are coming up with non-con, conference scheduling games. Like, I wonder if there's a little bit of a hesitation because, we're constantly talking about how many conference games are we going to have? How many non-con games are we going to have? Are we going to take the easy road on those? Like, I feel like it's too early in that process to start scheduling those out right now, just because we don't know what this is going to look like, even, 2 years from now, potentially.
And I'll add to, oh, sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, that makes sense, and I mean, scheduling a team like Colorado is going to obviously help your strength of schedule and stuff. More so than say, a South Dakota State or whatnot. My biggest thing with it is, hopefully, I know it won't happen, but hopefully we would get more home games out of that than what we would have to go to Boulder, for the simple fact of how ridiculous some of the Colorado fans are when Nebraska comes out there slashing tires, urine-filled balloons in cups and stuff like that. Like, just assault, like, just complete garbage when we're out there. So hopefully more of the games would be in Lincoln than they are in Colorado. Would be my only thing with it.
My one thing I was going to add to was my take on it is Nebraska, the Big Ten, plays 9 conference games. We've talked about this a lot. And what Justin was alluding to with scheduling and stuff, if we stay at 9 and the SEC stays at 8 and the SEC wants to and they get to do this scheduling alliance with the Big Ten, I wouldn't in that case want to play Colorado, because now at that point you're playing 10 Power 4 conference opponents already out of 12 on your 12-game schedule. And then if you make the playoffs, you're playing 2-3 more, depending if you can make a run or not. So it depends on how that shakes out. But from a fan perspective, I think it would be awesome. That Colorado environment this year was absolutely unhinged. And that would be a fun experience for fans to have every single year with Colorado, or even a school like K-State.
One more thing on that too. With how far out those things are typically scheduled, we don't even know if this is going to be like a Dion Colorado team by that point too either. So, like,
be Bob Diaco.
Oh man, if it's Bob Diaco, we better schedule it up because we want to win that. No, but yeah. So I mean, I think it would be great to have them on there. Money and all that too. But one of the things too with strength of schedule is like, we want these other teams that aren't like South Dakota bums, whatever of whatever school. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, just the scrubs. But at the same time, like, if you get in the playoff and win a national championship, nobody's going to look back at your schedule and be like, it's because you had an easy schedule. And that's another thing too. I think we need to not be afraid too much of doing that if other teams are, just because of that. If they're going to do it and then they're going to go win a national championship, nobody's looking back at their schedule and be like, oh, you won it because of this. It's like, that'll get us there. And then, from there, we're going to play the top of the top, and having maybe some easy games in that schedule is kind of a little bit of an almost break, to an extent, as opposed to just playing a tough Big Ten schedule and then going into a college football playoff and playing top teams there too.
Look at Michigan and Ohio State, the last 2 national champions. Their non-con was a joke.
Yeah.
Hell, Indiana, their whole schedule was a joke. You do get rewarded, ironically, for playing a weaker schedule.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, that's all I had for you guys today. I guess I just like calling in and stuff, and I hope other people call in too. That's what the show's here for. So I'm going to hang up and let somebody else call in, and I will listen to you guys on the tube.
Mike, you the man. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Yep. Take care.
You too. I just threw the link back in the chat because I see it's kind of filled up since the show started and since I posted the link last time. So the link is in the chat.
Let's go ahead and hop into some of the comments. Go Big Red the other day. What's up, the other Dave? How you doing, man? Husker Power Bone Leg Corn Fed hopping in here. Post call in link. Oh yeah, we already did that. Mike, you already called it. Dave, let's see. Justin, what's up, man? Just appreciate you hopping in here. Comey, appreciate you hopping in here. I love that picture though. Every single time, bro. That's fantastic. What's going on, Gavin? Thank you for hopping in. Cannot wait for Colorado to play us again. That'll be fun. I won't be here next week. How are you going to be, Boneless?
Heck?
What are we doing here? So we got a professional show to run. We need you here. No, but so have you had a chance to look at any of the breakdowns? So I got a couple things here that I talked to you about. Like I did a consensus power ranking, kind of going through all of those, and then I also have I broke down the JD Pickell video today on the Nebraska win total, and you kind of had. Did you get the chance to watch that, or did you kind of see something on it?
I just saw like a 10-15 second clip on TikTok from him. That's it.
Yeah, and so if anybody does have their schedule predictions, go ahead and drop them down in the chat below. But JD Pickell's kind of thing on it was, I think overall he was looking at, our schedule being somewhat favorable, and actually had a pretty good 8-3 prediction for us overall, with a dark horse shot at a Big Ten or a college football playoff if we finish 9-3. So playoff chances low, around 10-15%, but he called Nebraska a dark horse for the expanded 12-team college football playoff. They hit 93 or better. Just said they're knocking on the door, but basically talked about Raiola a lot, of course, called him the X Factor. Pickell likes Raiola a lot. Typically, people who understand football and what they're watching like Raiola. Just throwing that out there. They like what they see from him. But, hey, went into how Holgorsen unlocked kind of his arm talent with that air raid style, which we talk about a lot. So he's projecting 3,500 plus yards, 25 plus TDs, and under 10 interceptions. And he talked about it. Raiola was held back by conservative play calling, and Holgorsen kind of lets him sling it out there. So offensive line strength, all line has 153 combined career starts. So he called that the foundation for everything. Top 40 run game prediction. And then talked about, of course, Butler's NFL experience with that, more pro style scheme, causing more havoc, and the depth that we've added in this offseason to the defense. But talked about schedule favorability, no Ohio State, stuff like that. We got Michigan, we got Penn State, but those are teams that you probably would like to play over Ohio State, especially with our history against Ohio State. But he talked about the recruiting momentum, the close game curse. Of course, we always got to bring that up, but said they got to learn to finish. So, yeah, game-by-game analysis, though. He had a win against Cincinnati. I'm pretty sure.
Akron, Houston, Christian.
Yeah, I can't remember what his 3 losses were. I don't think I typed them all down here. But yeah, so talked about our potential college football playoff dark horse contention. A lot of people are talking about that, but I think the biggest hesitation, I think guys like JD kind of pay more attention to what Nebraska got going on behind the scenes with the recruiting and stuff like that, and kind of more apt to be a little bit more bullish on Nebraska. Whereas a lot of other places I'm reading are just really, they have Nebraska kind of 8-9 in their power rankings and stuff like that. I think Phil Steele had us up to 7 in his, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And of course, Ohio State is kind of the consensus number 1. But going through the consensus, Nebraska came out at 8 for me. And of course, Ohio State 1, Penn State 2 somehow. Oregon 3, Michigan 4, Illinois 5, Indiana 6, Iowa 7, Nebraska 8, USC 9, Washington 10, Minnesota 11, Wisconsin 12, UCLA 13, Rutgers 14, Michigan State 15, Maryland 16, 17 Northwestern, 18 Purdue. And if we're looking at our schedule there, we got number 2 team, number 4 team, and then 7. So 3 teams that we play on our schedule are ranked ahead of us on this preseason power ranking consensus. Behind us, USC, Minnesota, UCLA, Michigan State, Maryland, Northwestern. So yeah, I mean that further kind of alludes to the schedule stuff that we were talking about earlier, where it's I'm okay with it. I'm okay with an easier schedule. Trust me, especially this being year 3. Nobody's going to look back. If Nebraska came out and lost 7 games, nobody would come out and say it's an easy schedule. But if we win 9 or 10, they're going to be saying that. So like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But yeah, that's kind of where they had everybody sitting. How do you feel about Nebraska at 8?
This comment right here is perfect. 4th through 9th is a slugfest. Can you read through that again? Just 4 through 9, or even just 4 through 8?
Yeah. So we got 4 is Michigan. Okay. 5 is Illinois. 6 Indiana. 7 is Iowa. 8 Nebraska. 9 USC, and then 10 is Washington.
So what's crazy is hearing that list. Those are all pretty damn good teams.
Mm-hmm.
And every single one of those teams could be 8-4 to 10-2.
Yep.
It's a very realistic possibility. 8th place now in the Big Ten is not what it was 4 or 5 years ago, which, and that's besides the point of being a smaller conference then than it is now. But 8th place now, just the league is so deep, top to bottom. I mean, 1 through 12, 13 is really a lot of good teams, or a lot of solid teams. So when I look at 8th place, where we're at as a program, it's progress. By this time next year, we should be in that top tier, that 3, 4, 5 range, maybe 6. We should be able to pass Iowa this year. We should be able to pass Indiana. I don't think they're going to be able to maintain what they've started. I really think Indiana is kind of a one-hit wonder, maybe not. But Nebraska is really close to being in the top quarter of the Big Ten.
Yeah, and here's kind of some notes, and the call-in link is there. Y'all go ahead and call in. We give it usually about 15 minutes. If nobody calls in, we're going to call the show. So if y'all want to call in and discuss the power rankings, discuss anything at all, doesn't even have to be Husker related, click that link and call in so we can keep the show rocking and rolling. But when I'm looking at Indiana's kind of power ranking here, and kind of I put some little notes kind of how they broke some of the sites, like broke them down. They have them as like a heavy turnover team, but still kind of mid-tier. Their strengths, they talked about, blending their portal add-ons with the returners. Weaknesses, lost huge pieces to their roster, tough road schedule. Signetti will keep them kind of in the shuffle because of his abilities in the portal. So, they kind of like, I saw one place where they kind of had best case as 11-1 and Mendoza enters the Heisman talk. I don't see that happening. Worst case 5-7, transfers flop, drop games to Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Oregon. But yeah, that's tough, bro. Illinois, you got Iowa, Oregon on the road. Like, their schedule's brutal.
Their schedule sucks.
Oh, who's that?
Last year.
I like how I just get random people that are in this Voice College Football StreamYard that pop up whenever my camera goes out. Sometimes it's Jackson. I don't even know who that guy is.
I have no idea.
It's not me, if you can't tell.
So last year they played FIU, Western Illinois, UCLA, who at the time was really bad, Charlotte, Maryland, Northwestern, an okay Nebraska team, a bad Washington team, a bad Michigan State team, an okay Michigan team at the time. They got absolutely killed by Ohio State.
Matt Rule.
And then Purdue, and then Notre Dame. That was their schedule last year.
That's crazy.
Garbage.
Terrible.
This year it's Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State. But they play Illinois, who will be good, Iowa, who will be good. They go to Oregon, Michigan State, UCLA, I think will be better. Maryland, at Penn State, Wisconsin, and they wrap it up with Purdue. So they have 5 games right now that are you're probably at best a toss-up or not going to be favored.
Correct. Yeah, I agree. I just think they caught lightning in a bottle last year.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like, it's kind of annoying people compared them to Nebraska because, Curtis Rourke was a 7-year quarterback. And he brought 14 players that he had at JMU over to Indiana. And again, they just kind of cut lightning in a bottle with the easy schedule. Cignetti's a really good coach. I'm not going to say he's as good as people think he is. I think he's really good at getting people in the portal, building hype around a program just because of his personality. He's kind of very aggressive, blunt, like forward type of guy. And he gets players hyped up about coming to that program, I think, just in the way he talks about it. And they had to have a season like that to get people interested in that program. But yeah, I think they're due for a drop off this year. I just think it's one of those things like Indiana. I don't know if, Indiana's got basketball to worry about too. I don't know if they're necessarily a team that can keep this up, especially throughout this NIL, because I don't know where that money's going to come from. Are they going to put basketball aside? They're a blue blood in basketball.
Yep.
I talked about it a lot. Like their basketball program is very similar to our football program and the trajectory of success and how they've been lately. So that's also a big question about them is how they kind of divvy up that money.
Yeah. So of that money, 20 million is what you're going to have roughly. And I think when they think they hired their new coach, I'm fairly confident there was a public comment about how they're just going to dump money into basketball. Mm-hmm. And a high level, like a Duke or a KU or North Carolina roster for basketball is 10 million easy.
Yeah.
So that means you have 10 million left over for football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, culture will at some point win out, but you just won't be able to accumulate the talent at such a higher rate where maybe you go a budget friendly route where you have a lot of pretty good players and you hope you can develop them and they're going to be relatively affordable for 1, 2, maybe 3 years. Or you go all out on 6 to 8 guys, 10 guys at $1 million a year or 600 million or 600,000 a year. It's going to be hard.
What's up, Jackson? Yeah, Mike. Crazy 30 people you don't know calling. Call in, guys. Come on. Appreciate it, Mike. Yeah, go ahead and call in. We're gonna give it until 30 after. If we don't get any calls, we're gonna wrap the show. Just because otherwise it turns into just another live stream. One of the things that I'm going to mention is Penn State's kind of becoming the consensus too. How do you feel about that?
The consensus favorite to win the Big Ten?
No, the consensus is number 2. Over the power rankings that I went over, at least kind of averaging together, they came out 2. Now, some of the reasons why, Athlon has them at number 1. Athlon has them at number 1, but they're talking about the returning players. Of course, you got Singleton and Katron Allen, both really, really good running backs. The defense is incredible. And Jim Knowles is an excellent DC, as we've seen many years. Drew Aller is, getting much, much better. I know a lot of people don't like to give praise to Drew Aller, but the man threw 2 interceptions last year. And without a bunch of weapons on the outside. But that's where they're hurting because they don't have a lot of wide receiver weapons at all.
Yeah, remember Julian Fleming?
Yep.
Nebraska tried to get him, and he did nothing there. I feel like.
Yep. What's up, the other Dave? How you doing, brother?
Good. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. We can.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for calling in, brother.
Yeah, I'm on lasagna duty, so sorry. I'm starting the keto next week, so trying to get as much carbs as I can.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy that. That keto is rough when you start dropping the energy levels, but
yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm kind of lost on recruiting right now. I know we had a big jolt here the last 2 weeks, but who are our next? I'd say 2 or 3 targets we should be keeping an eye on for commit watch.
Calvin Thomas from Cypress, Cy Ranch, Texas, commits tomorrow, and up until a week ago, it was a very heavy lean to Nebraska, but like we were just talking about when Mike called in with the NIL aspect of it, Nebraska's not going to overspend. And SMU has a ton of cash, and so does North Carolina. They're going to pay him a lot of money to go play there. I did a whole video and everything ready for that, but so that one's out. I don't know why certain content creators keep saying Valden Sohn is like a lock to Nebraska. He's absolutely not. In fact, despite them having 6, potentially 7 defensive line commits, I would still say he's likely to go to Georgia. PPI is the recruiting group he's a part of. They handle all overseas recruits. And they're very much, I don't want to call them the handlers because that sounds almost derogatory in a sense, in my opinion, but they're handling a lot of the rev share parts of the conversations. And Georgia's going to spend a lot of money, and Nebraska probably can't keep up with that. Also, too, with just the track record Georgia has at defensive line, is probably going to be what wins out for them. Nebraska is, they can offer so many things, but they just haven't shown the proven development on the defensive line outside of Ty and Nash recently.
Yep.
And after that, man, it's kind of a crapshoot. There's a couple guys we're watching. Decommitment from Oregon. I can't say his name because it's like a really thick Polynesian name, but he's a new defensive tackle Nebraska's circling back on. He's 6'4", 330, big physical guy. That's something to watch. Cameron Wilson, I'm going to continue to say flip watch for him. That just might be August, September, October when that happens. Nebraska's still trying to flip Jordan Campbell. He is going to take official visits during the football season, and one of those will be to Nebraska.
Okay.
He keeps saying he shut his recruitment down, but right now we're kind of we're in a dry spell, and I don't know what their plan is. I think they're just going to try and flip guys right now because they will not reach. They will not take, with all due respect, the Jalen Lloyds of the world, where you need 2-3 years to develop. They're not going to do that anymore.
Got it. Yeah. So there's really no slam dunk on the horizon, but we might see a surprise. It sounds like, if anything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You remember last year with Dawson and Cortez? I mean, those were things that Nebraska was heavily involved in, and then it was just kind of, you have to see how it plays out on the field, and they saw what they needed to flip late. Same thing's going to happen this year. You're going to have 2, 3, 4 guys that flip in October, November, December, after Nebraska goes 9-3.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is, as the season goes along, that's where we're really going to start seeing some of these recruits maybe start to make some headway, or Nebraska make some headway with these recruits and momentum. Because some of these guys, if a team starts to win, all of a sudden they can be, come over for a little bit less money or see more value in what Nebraska brings. But yeah, I think Matt Rule is being very measured in his approach, and he's just not going to overreach for anybody, because I think he feels like no matter what, they got targets that they can bring in, and they want to have that money. Kind of on, it's kind of this continual thing where it's almost like a salary cap, and if you start throwing money at, each, it kind of adds up. You start getting in bidding wars with each and every player. All of a sudden, now you're down $2 million that you thought you would have, and that affects recruiting in the future as well. So,
yeah.
So I would really watch the poll in a couple years too.
Yeah, no, it sounds like we're being very picky, which is good, and leaving our war chest open for the fall when we showcase our record. Now in the transfer portal, this July window is kind of goofy, but are we expecting more people to come in?
To come in, I wouldn't think so. Not unless for some odd reason a high value player gets cut somewhere else, because that's essentially what this portal window is. It's guys that are getting left off the future roster limits, and that's why they can transfer without counting towards another school's roster limit, essentially. So I think you might see another guy or 2 or 3 leave, but I wouldn't expect Nebraska to get anybody unless some big physical running back or maybe a tight end or defensive tackle comes available.
Yeah. Here's another thing too. It's like with that. Oh, Brian, come back in. Okay. Sorry, we were echoing there. But what I actually forgot what I was going to say. Dang it. Go ahead, the other day. I'll remember what I was going to say in a second.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's all I had. I wanted to know recruiting wise, and then just risk of losing players. Jaden Doss, from what I heard, looked great in the spring game, but he was buried on the depth chart, so I don't think we lost much there. So
he had changed positions already. Yeah, it was one of those things I just don't think he saw. He was going to see a lot of the field. Now I kind of remember what I was going to say. We also have that, how Matt Rule kind of broke the team into 2, the players that are going to be playing now and the developmental guys. We don't hear a lot on those developmental guys. So they also have knowledge of those guys that maybe they foresee, this position, we don't need to be as forward as going after a player because we have this guy who we think is going to be able to step in that role too. So that's another thing too, is just trying to get an idea on where, you're like David Huffkins of the world are on like their development and stuff like that too. So
Right. Great. Yeah. And then when does everybody get back in town coaching wise? Is that, fall camp, or do they get back before that?
Well, so we're trying to actually schedule an interview with a coach. And so I was talking with Keith Mann. He said they're on vacation for the next 3 weeks, and that was a week ago.
Okay.
So I would guess they're going to be back next week then, because I think camp starts the 23rd.
Yeah, so they usually get back a little bit before fall camp.
All right. Yeah, it's getting close. All right.
Yep. We're inching there slowly but surely.
Yeah. It's the worst time of year, but we're getting close to the best time.
Yep.
Well, thanks for filling the void with content, guys. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Hang up and listen.
Appreciate you
Dave.
calling in, man. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, cool. Good call there. And again, we'll drop the media days the 22nd. That is correct. We're going to drop the link here. Oh, wait, I'm dropping the StreamYard link. Oh, wait, that's right. Yeah, I'm a dummy. Pretend I never said that. But anyways.
I was trying to click the comment there.
Oh, Devin Jackson will have much playing time in Oregon, come back to Nebraska. That'd be nice.
I still just think in my heart of hearts, this is a guy to watch come late fall, early winter. I know people, even when I posted something on Twitter or whatever, was like, oh, he said this is his last commitment. Yeah, that's until Oregon adds another safety. They have 3 in the class now. They add another. They will, because they're going after at least 2 more guys at safety. Nebraska has none. So that's one thing I'm hoping they can flip late.
100%. What's up, Mr. Boneled?
Not me. Hey, I was pondering a question to ask, so I'm just going to want your insights on it.
Yep.
What do you think about tying a portion of the nil payments to grade point average and to graduating from college? Or do you think they should just get all the nil, without maintaining a certain GPA or graduating?
You talking about like putting in stipulations?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like what I'm saying is like let's say we think that Dylan Raiola is worth $15 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, he'll get the $15 million, if he either 1, completes a certain grade point average, or 2, graduates. But in the meantime, he could get part of it. But to get the full allotment, he would have to either do one or the other or both. To get the amount, the full amount.
So kind of like a pro sports contract where a lot of it's partially guaranteed, and then if you hit these criteria, then it's max fully guaranteed money. Brian, what's your take on that?
So I know, and I might be wrong now because the way rev share is. So when NIL originally started, they had those stipulations where you had to have a certain GPA, you had to have the correct or good conduct, I guess. You could not have anything negative or shed light that was negative on the team or the program or the state. There was guys on Nebraska's roster, this was under Frost, where they had something off the field happen. They cut their NIL immediately, and they either hit the portal or they just didn't play much. So I know that was a thing then. I don't know if it is now with the new structure, but I 100% think you're on the right track with the GPA part of it and collecting money on it. The thing is, so in your example, Dylan Raiola, we value him at $15 million, and he can collect all $15 million upon graduation. If he is a projected first-round pick as a junior, and he's going to make $50 million as a first-round pick, it's not going to keep them to stay. Now, he's the 1%, or would be in this instance, the 1% of the 1%. So that would be my only issue is I don't know if you can make it so that once you graduate, you get the rest of it. I would say I would do it strictly on grade point average, conduct, professionalism, just like a normal contract, and you get it paid out on a monthly stipend. And Rest is history.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with that. It's it's one of those things that's like, yeah, like before where you're talking about Scott Frost, it's where like you cut your NIL, but this one's more so like layered, where you probably get like X amount of money for hitting this one, X amount of money for hitting this one, that type of deal. So
Yeah, the reason I ask is because I don't know if we still hold the record for most academic All-Americans. So, I didn't know how that, if nil, was going to be a part of that, because we have the most academic All-Americans and stuff like that. And would it just then be, for one sport, or would they do it, for whatever sports qualify for the nil?
I think they'd probably do it as kind of an across the board type of deal. Personally, I don't think they would change the standards depending on the sport. So yeah, but I do think that's, right up Matt Rule's alley, because he does put such an emphasis on character and how you do in the classroom. So yeah, does he feel that's worth paying more money, or does he want to get players who he feels like don't need the extra money to do that? But I think the incentive only helps. So I'm pretty sure that we'll probably see something like that.
Let me throw an idea out there.
Yep.
So now part of the rev share stuff, obviously with the budget and whatever, this would maybe be more complex than just, putting into action versus just talking about it. But let's just say, for the sake of discussion, Dylan Riley's got $1 million per year NIL rev share deal, but a base of say $600,000. And then for like grade point average, like 3.0, you get $100K bonus, 3.2, $200K, or whatever that equates to up to 1 million. I think that would be something that would be kind of unique to do as well. That way you can kind of still keep the student athlete part of it.
Agreed.
Yeah, that would be, rather interesting. And do you know, is the Ricketts family, are they still contributing to NIL or the 1990 initiative? Do you know?
I don't know. The Pete family is who owns and operates 1890.
Yeah.
And their company. And so this is what makes Nebraska unique with their NIL and that part of it that the other places do not have. The Pete family, I can't remember the name of the company they own, but they have dedicated people to handling the issues with the players with their money, with paying taxes, teaching them how to be financially literate. They have all sorts of resources that they pay out of the company's expense that is specifically for Nebraska student athletes, and no other school does that. A lot of the schools, you'll make your $100,000 a year or whatever, pay your taxes the next year when you file, whereas Nebraska is basically, okay, you're going to pay $20,000 in taxes next year when you file. We're holding back $20K from your rev share and NIL, and then we'll give that to you when you file, and we'll file it for you, and then you'll just take this money we've been holding and throw it at the IRS. It's actually a phenomenal setup Nebraska has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Go ahead.
This comment right here too, aren't NIL and rev share completely separate? Yes. Revenue, rev share comes from the university. NIL's building money off endorsements, your name, image, and likeness, that type of stuff.
NIL's through 1890, basically.
Yeah, so they are separate.
Yeah, but do you know if the Pete Ricketts family still donates to Nebraska? Do you know that? Because I know there was a room, I think it showed a room, in one of the facilities I toured. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was like a conference room. It said Pete Ricketts or Ricketts family conference room on one of the places I visited. And I figured he was the same one that, used to be governor, and then also either him or his dad owned the Chicago Cubs or something like that. But anyways, I heard he's given substantially, but I didn't know if he still did or what. I was just kind of wondering on that. Somebody who's got all that, that extra cash flow. I mean, you would think.
I would imagine he still is.
To get your name on a part of a building, though, you have to donate probably to the project more so than the university. But I would imagine, like you said, Bowen, like they're multimillionaires. are probably giving some money out.
Yeah, for sure.
But I would assume their name, because I think it's the Ricketts Auditorium or the Pete Ricketts Auditorium or something like that. I think that's for their donation to the what was the Go Big project.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I saw. I know it was a room or something that said that on it, and when I toured, I just couldn't remember what it was. But that's interesting. And so, what do you think that the improvements are going to do? Are they going to make the fan experience better, as in safe wise, or how do you think that the improvements are going to make things better?
For the stadium?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, the stadium improvements or construction or whatever you want to call it.
I think it's going to make it better for the fan experience, because I think they're trying to get it to more of like a, comfortable safety type of deal, but also at the same time, the way it's set up right now, and Brian, I don't know if they're going to change this at all, but like, the one end zone where you have to go in a separate entrance, are they going to kind of connect all of that together and make that kind of
in Trev's proposal, it was basically going to be a 360-degree concourse. Yes. So you could enter from any part of the stadium, which it needs to be done. Like if you've sat in south end zone, it is the worst part of any stadium I've ever been to, and I've been to quite a few.
Never sat
it's
there.
terrible.
Yeah. So I think the whole goal is to increase the fan experience too, but at the same time, like we just didn't want a bunch of seats being taken out. But some of the ways that they were trying to do some of the seating and stuff like that, it was going to require, more space to be taken up. So, but yeah, overall fan experience, I think, is what they're trying to fix.
Yeah. See, when I went to a game, a few years ago, when I sat up real high, and thank God the rails were there. Had those rails not been there, it wouldn't take much to tumble or fall over, and you'd go pretty far. But I hope that they fix something like that. Make it more, safe wise, but not, but not restrictive. You know what I'm saying?
Especially with beer being sold in the stadium, they got to raise those rails up a bit.
Yeah. I was going to ask that too. And what I'm worried about it is, let's say I go to a game, and I've got nothing wrong with people that drink. Don't get me wrong. But let's say I'm trying to enjoy the game, but it takes one person near you to spill their alcohol on you, and see, and, what do we do in a case like that? I mean, we just, what would you do if somebody spilled it on you? That's,
so,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So many years ago, I was a kid. I was probably 12. And me and my Aunt Kathy, shout out Aunt Kathy, we're at the Nebraska-Texas Tech game. We were sitting in the south end zone by the student sections, and somebody literally spilled shooters all over me. Wow. It is what it is. I mean, shit happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be annoying, and you'd smell like booze, but you're going to watch Nebraska kick somebody's ass, so it's all right.
Well, yeah, so you hope so, but Well, that's good. I mean, I in a way, I'm glad they have it, because it generates more money for them, and stuff like that. And did they get new contracts then for like the food vendors and a couple other ones? Aramark.
Yep.
Yeah, but they got like different
and keeping vowels.
Yes, thank God.
And the hot dogs.
Thank God they're keeping vowels.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a stipulation almost.
Yeah. Well, me, I like my hot dogs kind of like a Chicago hot dog, but that's, but, what can I say? But anyways, well, I just wanted, your input on all those things, and I'm going to let you guys go, and I'll watch and listen to the rest of the show.
Cool. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for calling about it.
You bet.
Some good questions there on stuff we don't get to talk about a ton. Yeah, on stuff we don't get to talk about a ton with the stadium renovation stuff.
The catch nets comment by Matt was hilarious.
Yeah, we'll I'm be more worried about raining people than worried about dropping a drink on me.
It is a valid point, though.
No, it is.
The catch nets, because when I was like, okay, when did we beat Colorado? The Ndamukong Suh pick 6 and the Alex Henry 57-yarder. That was probably
2009. No, it was before that because I was still in high school. I think I was more so along the lines of like, was it 06? Man,
I was in high school. I think I was a freshman.
Was it
in high school? It would have been 07, yeah.
Might have been 07 or 08.
But I remember when Henry made that field goal. So at the time, I used to sit in the north end zone skybox with my Uncle Mike and my dad. And this is actually how I got to meet Tommy Frazier. Side note there. But when he kicked that field goal, we had our box windows open, and I literally was freaking out. I almost fell out of the skybox. Like I had to be like railed back.
No, you were there. That's so sick. That's so sick, dude. I would have been freaking out of that stuff.
I was unhinged. It was amazing.
November of 2008. So yeah. So yeah, that was an incredible game though. I still remember I was going to do something I thought would be fun, is like have people see if they can like rank the call, like of like the announcer's call, and then like see if we can get somebody to quote it and give stuff out, if they can like come up with the full quote. But I know that full Alex Henry field goal, like the call on that one, you know, like in the Johnny Rogers the
Greg Sharp call.
Yeah, and then they had the one man, woman, and child.
That's mine.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I was broadcasting a high school football game, and this kid had like a 109-yard kick return for a touchdown, and it was to open the second half after they'd been in there just asses kicked the first half.
Yep.
And I literally quoted the end of that call, because then what ensued was like a 30-point comeback win. It was one of the most insane games I've ever seen.
Dude, that I'm trying to think of another one too, where it's like, because I used to have an alarm clock that would wake me when I was growing up. I had an alarm clock that would wake me up with Nebraska like radio calls and stuff like that. So, dude, it was sick. I loved it. The halftime tradition of running out to your tailgate at halftime for a shot is over. I mean,
they won't allow re-entry now.
Yeah, they won't get you. They won't let you back in. Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of it personally.
Yeah. Opinion: should they change the tunnel walk song or the tunnel walk altogether? This is a good question.
Yes,
I think they should. I know it's not going to be liked by many, but I think they need to modernize it a bit.
Well, the players walk out to that song because they have all those speakers in the tunnel, and then they have that big boom box that they carry. And what song is it?
I can't remember, but
that should just be it. Why not?
I just think something that like I know Sirius like fires the stadium up, but like gets it really high, you know.
They also need to make it shorter.
Yeah, like the whole walk, or them walking out.
Process.
Like just,
I get the hype video, but like the players should already be coming through the tunnel when it goes to them on the big board and when it has the music playing. And then you could show like the guys tapping the horseshoe, whatever, but we don't need to see it from start to finish. It takes like a full minute. Like you need to do the hype video, 30 seconds or less. You got the music pumping, you got the players already sprinting out of the tunnel, and then you can open the gates.
However, if that happens, how big is the backlash going to be from the tradition lovers?
Well, we've been irrelevant for 30 years. Okay, time to bury the hatchet on this and just move forward.
We can change it up. Yeah. No, I agree. I think it can get a little bit more hyped up though. Clapping's fun, but it'd be fun. Like you look at Virginia Tech with their Inner Sandman.
Oh my gosh,
it's just insane, nuts, dude. Like I want something like that. You know, even go ahead.
I always like, people think Texas A&M is such a cult, which it definitely is, but like the crowds shaking back and forth, or like the jump around, like all we do, and this drives me nuts. So I'm so glad. Thank you, Mike. You hit a soft spot with me here. All we do, off rhythm, while people clapping.
Yep,
for a minute. That's it. It sucks.
It does, and that's what I get the tradition, like watching the team come out, like excitement because the game's right there. But just imagine if they played like Inner Sandman, and we just all got to go like nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much that would fire the team up, and that makes people then the other team coming into that environment like that feels hostile, as opposed to us just going from this to like boo. Open the gates.
Open the gates. Isn't there a movie where they scream, open the gates? And then, so you'd literally have the hype video, the song, and then you'd insert this movie clip of the dude screaming, open the gates. And then you go down, you pan down to the gates. You got the Army pulling it open. And then here's Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola and Corey Campbell. It'd be freaking sick.
That's perfect. See, we just designed your new tunnel walk for you. Now we just got to come out with a song for it. Austin Powers.
I'll take 10. Yeah, I'll take 10%.
Yeah,
of whatever you make.
No, seriously though. But will they ever? That's the question. Let's see. Virginia Tech is the only pregame entrance that rivals ours. I think so. Ours is more of a tradition type of entrance, whereas Virginia Tech has like no tradition, but it's just so hype that people like love to watch. And that to me is more like having a walkout that like, because like ours is ranked all over the place when it comes to like traditions and walkouts. Like the tunnel walk on some people's is super high, on some people's super low. But like to get like people, millions of views on YouTube, you'll watch Virginia Tech's entrance and everybody's talking about how cool it is. It would just be nice to have an entrance like that where it's like, it's really hype and like the college football world loves to watch it, Jump around.
I like ours. I like ours in terms of the traditional side, but man, like we need something that gets the blood flowing.
Yeah. Gets us fired up. Because sometimes too, like if the team comes out slow, then the hype never gets up in that stadium. I Michigan in 2023. That way, get the juices pumping a little bit early. But yeah, I agree. I think that's long overdue. And then like the let me clear my throat. Like I don't think they play stuff. I don't think they play stuff like that enough.
You need to tap into the younger audience more.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that as like a younger person, but like you want this new wave of fans to come through.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of the fan base is older and you're trying desperately to regain fans from this younger generation. And this is how you do it, is you adapt with the times. I mean, they do a good job like during in-game with doing very popular video trends or whatever, but that pregame, that 30 seconds, 40 seconds, you have to just get it hype. It has to be a freaking party.
Yeah. And those little things like it will matter to like recruits visiting too. You get young, the visitors are young kids, just like getting in that environment, picturing coming out to that. Like I get, because the tunnel walk tradition is there, but like, I don't know how many of these young kids are like, yeah, I love the tradition of the tunnel walk. I want to be a part of it. It's more so just coming out in that environment that they're like, holy cow, Yeah. But imagine coming out of that environment, Raucous going crazy. Yeah. Change the Thunderstruck to the pregame opener.
You could do your third to fourth quarter halftime show at the start of the game.
Yep.
And it would be phenomenal both times.
Yep. We come up with another light show. But yeah, Thunderstruck at the beginning of the game, like something like that would be cool for sure. All right. What was
Is there isn't good music anymore?
True. We'll have to go back to like the early 2000s or something. Any updates on any more recruiting stuff?
Pretty much spilled it all earlier.
Pretty much talked about it. So
you can play that Scott Frost interview.
Oh yeah, hold on. Brian's got something for y'all. You got to pull it back up, huh?
Yeah, I will. But as soon as I go to upload it, it's going to start playing. So
they've probably seen this. Some of them probably seen this before. But it's still going to be funny no matter what.
All right, we found old footage from Scott Frost end of the game interview at Nebraska.
Tell that everybody's like, football is a team game. Okay, it's not a team game. Okay, I did my part. All right, I put in a great game plan. I mean, these players, they're horrible. My players are no good. I mean, everybody's like, no excuses. No, I got 22 excuses. 11 on my offense and 11 on my defense. Our offensive coordinator is terrible. He gets half of his plays off of Madden rookie mode. I mean, the guy is no good. In our offensive line, it's like Obama's immigration policy. Let everybody through. Do we have a chance next week? No, we don't. We're 0-8. We're not good at football. I got 3 white receivers. Our red zone defense is like Oprah, like you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown. Our quarterback, look at the playbook. We put in plays for Peyton Manning. He plays like Cooper Manning. I mean, the guy's just not good at football. No credit to the other team, okay? The other team is awful.
Love it. That is Scott Frost in a nutshell.
Oh,
11. We got problem. 11 players on offense, 11 players on defense. That was definitely him talking about Mark Whipple.
yeah, no kidding.
The Nebraska version of Red Kingdom by Tech 9. Yep.
It's not bad.
That's a good.
As a Chiefs fan,
I mean,
though, I'm
that would
telling
get you hyped though. Nah, screw that, bro. Screw the Chiefs. No, that would get the place hyped though.
It does. It is really good.
So, Mike agrees. See, I think everybody can agree on that. At least Nebraska specific. Well, made for the Chiefs, whatever. It's the Nebraska specific version of it. So, all right. So, anything else before we got about 4 minutes left here? Kind of went through some of the
hour.
Huh?
That was a fast hour.
Yeah, we had some good calls, good questions today. But I will be coming out. I did break down a lot of analytics and stuff like that. I'm going to be coming out with a kind of an offensive video here before too long. Probably going to try to pull up because I got a lot, pretty much all the film, all 22 film from last season. So I'm going to kind of go into an in-depth kind of offensive breakdown and then do a little bit of a defensive breakdown with what Butler film I can find. And kind of break down what the offense is going to look like a little bit, some advanced numbers on Raiola and stuff like that. So we start prepping up for the season and see whatever we got, coming up and what to look forward to. So, Brian, is there anything else from you before we hop off here?
I sold my house this week.
Let's go. Good for you. Congratulations.
Close in a month.
When are you moving?
Yeah, it's to be dated. We got a rent back on our house just to buy us some time because I still haven't found a job. I'm close, but I'd say last week of August, so I might not be able to go to the Chiefs game or the Chiefs, the game at the Chiefs Stadium. Unfortunately.
Oh, I won't be able to go to the Michigan game. We'll figure another one to go to, but can fans cheer Key like Sue? I'm sure we can.
Yeah, we can cheer whatever we want.
That'd be a weird Key.
No, it would sound like everybody's crying or something.
Yeah.
Now, who do we have? Sua Lafotu.
Yeah.
If he becomes good, you could all chant
Lafotu.
Sua
Lafotu.
I don't know. We don't have any good names like that.
No, we don't. I don't know if
I can't think of any.
I can't either off the top of my head. We need another Richie Incognito name.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me caught up.
We used to have all the craziest names at one point.
Dakota's Crawford.
We had a guy named DeMornay Pearsonell.
DeMornay, yeah.
Domicon Sue. Prince Amukamara.
First team all name.
We had a lot of great names.
Trying to think of the wildest one I heard. Dakota's Crawford's up there.
Oh yeah.
Dakota's first name's got to be the most wild first name for sure.
What about okay, hold on here. The kid at Eastern Michigan.
Which one?
Noah.
Oh,
I'm not saying
it's Knigga.
Yes, but you pronounce the K.
It. Oh yeah, I am hip. Yeah.
Well, that was his nickname though.
Yeah.
But it is a great name.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of more crazy college football names in the past. General Booty
was one, yeah. Oh, the USC quarterback when they came to Lincoln, John David Booty.
Oh, John David Booty, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Clinton Dix.
Yes, bro.
That one's wild.
Some of these are wild. Dominican Sue. I'm trying to think of any else. General Booty, Noah's name's kind of crazy. Oh, there was a guy named Mobility. M-O-H Bility. Who was he? Who did he play for?
East Middle Tennessee, I think.
I can't remember. This is a fun game though. This is a fun. Look it back.
We have to make a list for our next show.
Yeah, we do. We're rambling at this point, but it was fun. It's fun thought piece there. So, all right. Well, we are going to wrap the show here. Thank you to everybody who called in. I appreciate y'all calling in as usual. And y'all can tune in Tuesday at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Central. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
6 p.m. Central for our live Tuesday live show. We're going to have any updates on the recruiting, etc. Any future family Huskers coming up. What does that mean?
Krell Somebody in Texas, not Carl Buckhalter. Former player has a kid in Texas. He's a 2027 player that's like a borderline 5-star that Nebraska hasn't offered.
Oh, I see what he means.
I think that's what he means.
I think so too. All right. Well, that is going to do it for us here. Again, thank you everybody who tuned in the show. Appreciate each and every one of y'all, especially those that called in. Thank y'all very much. Y'all help this show roll. So with that being said, that'll do it for us here. Again, tune in at Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central. We'll be here to talk everything Huskers. But until then, we will see you next time. Peace.